What are the differences in China policy that you're detecting between the two campaigns, in as much as it pertains to economics here, of course?
There is almost no difference. There are differences on issues of human rights, how much you make that an issue with China. There are some differences on national security more narrowly defined, although there the differences are not as big, not that big either. But on economics, there's almost no difference on Capitol Hill, in the administration, in the previous administration, and in the prospective administrations. So they're the same. What does this mean? What this means is we're almost certainly going to get additional punitive tariffs on China, blocking huge amounts of trade with them. Either side wins. We're almost assuredly going to have a cut in the American standard of living and in the competitiveness of our newer industries where we succeed at the expense. Those will be sacrificed in order to support our old dying industries, or industries in which we don't even have a presence, because that's what happens when you put on these kinds of tariffs. It will have almost no effect on how others interact with China. My colleague at Peterson, Mary Lovely, has documented that throughout Asia, over the last few years, as the US has put restrictions on China and Chinese trade and Chinese exports to the US, all, including our allies and our non-allies in East Asia, Southeast Asia, have increased their dependence on Chinese exports, have increased their dependence on Chinese investment. We're not offering them anything. The Biden administration didn't offer them anything. The Trump administration certainly didn't offer them anything. If we don't offer them any market access, any investment, any right to grow, then why should they play along with us? So these are very self-defeating policies. And then there's another debate which relates to technology about, as has been all over the press lately, and again, I know foreign policy has dealt with this directly, how much do you induce China to become more competitive to replace US producers of high-tech chips or other things when you block off their access to things? And so to me, it's not anything nice about the Chinese Communist Party. They're awful, right? And we want to confront them, but it's just that substituting economic barriers for it, for actually directly confronting them and deterring them on various things they do, or alternatively deepening economic relations with the rest of the world, non-China, as an alternative, those are viable alternatives. But just putting up trade barriers unilaterally from the US on China, or restrictions on Chinese investment in the US, or restrictions on Chinese workers and students coming to the US, just means others profit at our expense. China's influence elsewhere grows. It doesn't really work. So it may be, sadly, there's no substitute for direct national security responses to a national security threat.